My daughter stood in my kitchen with a folder full of papers and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She wore her expensive blazer, the one she always put on when she wanted to look like she knew what she was talking about. Her husband Troy leaned against my counter like he owned it already. "Dad, we need to talk about the house," Lauren said. I kept washing my coffee mug. The water ran hot over my hands. I didn't turn around. "What about it?" "It's about protection, asset protection." She set the folder down on the table. The sound echoed in the quiet kitchen. "You're getting older. If something happens, if you need care or if there's a lawsuit, they could take everything. The house, your savings, all of it." Troy nodded along like a dashboard ornament. "It's just smart planning, Frank. Everyone does it." I dried my hands on the dish towel, turned around, looked at them both. Lauren had my ex-wife's eyes, sharp, calculating, always 3 steps ahead of what she was saying out loud. "And your solution?" "We transfer the house into my name, on paper. You still live here, nothing changes for you, but legally it's protected, safe." She opened the folder. Forms, notarized documents, deed transfer papers already filled out. "I had our lawyer draw everything up. It's completely standard." I walked to the table, sat down, pulled the papers closer. Troy pushed off the counter. "Look, Frank, I know this seems sudden, but Lauren's been worried sick. We both have. You're 72. What if you fall? What if something happens? This house is your only real asset. We're just trying to help." The papers were professional, clean, every line filled in except my signature. I picked up the pen she'd placed on top. "You had a lawyer do this?" "Martin Vance. He specializes in elder law. He said this is textbook." Lauren sat across from me. Her voice softened. "Dad, I know you don't like asking for help. I know you think you can handle everything yourself. But this is important. This protects you." I looked at the deed transfer, the quitclaim, the affidavit of gift, all the words that meant I would sign away 40 years of mortgage payments, 40 years of fixing the roof and replacing the furnace and rebuilding the porch. Sign it all away to my daughter who visited twice a year and called on birthdays. "Where do I sign?" Lauren blinked. "What?" "Where do I sign? You came prepared. You have a notary appointment, I assume?" Troy and Lauren exchanged a glance. She recovered first. "We have a mobile notary coming at 2. I wanted to talk to you first. Make sure you understood." "I understand." I clicked the pen. "You want the house in your name for safety, for protection. So, if something happens to me, it's already settled. No probate, no complications." "Exactly." Her smile warmed up, became real. "I'm so glad you get it. Some parents, they fight this. They make it so difficult. But you've always been practical." I signed the first form, then the second, then the third. My handwriting looked shaky. It wasn't. I'd been signing documents since before Lauren was born. I knew how to make a signature look reluctant. The notary arrived at 2. A young woman named Beth with a stamp and a commission book. She checked my ID, asked if I understood what I was signing. I said yes. She notarized everything. Lauren gave her cash. Beth left. Troy clapped me on the shoulder. "You made the right call, Frank. This is going to give everyone peace of mind." Lauren hugged me. It felt like hugging a stranger. "Thank you, Dad. I know this wasn't easy." They left with the folder. I watched their Audi pull out of the driveway. Lauren was already on her phone before they reached the corner. I went to my workshop in the garage, opened my filing cabinet, 3rd drawer down, behind the tax returns from 2006. The folder was still there, thicker than Lauren's, older, signed and notarized and filed with the county recorder's office 9 years ago. I'd known this was coming. Not the exact date, not the exact words, but I'd known Lauren would eventually try this. She'd talked about it at Christmas 3 years back, mentioned asset protection, estate planning, making things simple. I'd nodded and changed the subject. Then I'd called Martin Vance, the same lawyer she'd used. He'd been my lawyer first. The documents in my folder had names Lauren hadn't heard yet, legal terms she hadn't bothered to learn, easements, usage rights, beneficial interest agreements, life estate clauses with teeth. I'd signed the house to her. That part was true. But I'd kept everything that made the house useful. She owned the shell. I owned the lock, the key, the door, the foundation, the access, the right to be here, the right to control who else could be here, the right to prevent sale, the right to prevent lease, the right to prevent refinancing, the right to live here until I died, and the right to make sure that if she tried to remove me, the house would cost her more than she'd ever get back. Martin had called it the most aggressive life estate structure he'd ever written. I'd called it insurance. I closed the folder, put it back in the drawer, went inside and made dinner. Chicken and rice. Simple. I ate at the table where Lauren had smiled, and Troy had nodded, and I'd signed my house away. The phone rang at 8. Lauren. Hey, Dad. Just wanted to check in. Make sure you're okay with everything. I'm fine. Good. Troy and I were talking. We think it might be smart to update some things. The roof is old, the furnace. We might do some renovations. Nothing major, just modernization. It's your house now, I said. Right. Exactly. I'm glad you see it that way. A pause. Also, we're going to add Troy to the deed. Spousal protection, just a formality. Makes sense. You're being so reasonable about this. I really appreciate it. I hung up after she did. Sat in the quiet house. My house. The one I'd built half of with my own hands. The porch, the deck, the addition on the back. The garage workshop. Every board and nail and screw. Lauren thought she'd won something. She'd won a title, a piece of paper. I'd spent 9 years building a cage around that paper. She just didn't know she was in it yet. I went to bed at 10, slept fine. No guilt, no regret. I'd done what fathers do. I'd prepared. I'd protected. Not the house, not the money, myself. Lauren would figure it out eventually, maybe in a month, maybe in 6, whenever she tried to do something with her new property. Sell it, refinance it, leverage it, rent it, kick me out. That's when she'd learn what I'd really signed and what I'd kept. I closed my eyes. The house settled around me. The old boards creaked. The furnace kicked on. Everything familiar, everything mine. Let her try. The truck arrived on a Thursday morning. I was in the garage working on a table for the Hendersons when I heard it. Commercial rental, the kind with a hydraulic liftgate. I wiped sawdust off my hands and walked to the driveway. Troy was directing 2 young guys in company polo shirts. They carried boxes into my house through the front door. Lauren stood on the porch with a clipboard and her phone. Morning, I said. Lauren looked up. Oh, Dad, hi, I should have called. What's going on? We're doing some organizing, storage stuff. The house has so much space we're not using efficiently. She gestured at the boxes. We're going to set up the spare bedroom as a home office. Troy's been wanting a dedicated workspace. I watched another box go past. I use that room. For what? Storage, tools, parts. Lauren's smile tightened. Right. We're going to consolidate all that. Make it more efficient. The garage is full of your workshop stuff anyway. You don't need a whole bedroom for boxes. Troy came out. Frank, good to see you. We're just making some improvements. Bringing this place into the 21st century. He laughed. Nobody else did. Where's my stuff going? We'll put it in the garage, or the basement, wherever makes sense. Lauren checked her clipboard. The movers will be careful. Don't worry. I went back to the garage. The table was half finished. I picked up the sander, started working. The noise drowned out the footsteps, the voices, the sound of my house being rearranged. By noon, they'd cleared the spare bedroom. Desk, office chair, filing cabinets, computer. Troy set everything up himself, ran extension cords, mounted a whiteboard. Lauren supervised. I made a sandwich, ate it at the kitchen table. Watched through the window as they unloaded more boxes. Some went to the basement. some to the garage, some they put by the curb. "Those are going to donation," Lauren said when she saw me looking. "Old clothes, broken tools, stuff you don't need anymore." "I didn't say you could throw out my things." "Dad, be reasonable. Half this stuff is broken. When's the last time you used any of it?" She softened her voice. "We're helping. This is what kids do. We take care of the house. We take care of you." The movers left at 3. Lauren and Troy stayed until 6, setting up, arranging, making Troy's office perfect. When they finally left, Lauren hugged me at the door. "This is going to be great. Troy can work from here twice a week. It'll be nice. We'll see you more." I nodded, said nothing, watched them drive away. Then I walked through the house. The spare bedroom was unrecognizable, corporate, sterile, Troy's laptop, Troy's files, Troy's coffee mug on the desk. The closet was full of their boxes, sealed, labeled, none of them mine. I checked the basement. They'd moved my storage bins to one corner, stacked them poorly. Some of the lids weren't on right. I found 3 boxes by the furnace. They'd gotten wet last spring when the basement flooded. Mildew damage. They'd just shoved them against the wall. The garage was worse. They'd piled my parts bins on top of each other, blocked my workbench, put their boxes in front of my tool chest. I spent an hour reorganizing, moving everything back where it belonged. By the time I finished, my back hurt and my hands were shaking. I went inside, made coffee, sat at the kitchen table. The house felt different, occupied, not by me. I pulled out my phone, called Martin Vance. "Frank, good to hear from you. How's the house situation?" "They're moving in, not officially, but they're setting up." "Usage violations already, that was fast." Papers rustled on his end. "What exactly are they doing?" "Office, storage, reorganizing my things." "Are they staying overnight?" "Not yet." "Let me know when they do. That triggers the occupancy clause. Until then, they're just visiting. Annoying, but legal." He paused. "How are you holding up?" "I'm fine." "No, Frank. How are you really?" I looked at the spare bedroom door. Troy's whiteboard visible through the crack. "I'm fine. Call me if that changes, and document everything. Photos, dates, times. If this goes where I think it's going, we'll need evidence." I hung up, took photos, the office, the basement, the garage, uploaded them to the folder on my computer, the one I'd started 9 years ago. Back when this was just a possibility, a worry, a what if. Now it was a when. Troy came back Friday, let himself in with his own key. I was in the garage. I heard the door, the footsteps, the sound of him settling into his office. He stayed until 7, took phone calls, video meetings, worked like he lived here. Saturday, Lauren came. She brought cleaning supplies, spent 4 hours scrubbing bathrooms and vacuuming floors. My bathrooms, my floors, the ones I cleaned every week. "The place was getting grim, Dad. When's the last time you really deep cleaned?" "Last month." "Well, it needed it again." She threw out my bath mat, replaced it with one from Target. "This is better, more modern." Sunday they both came, measured windows, talked about curtains. Lauren took photos of the living room, said something about staging. Troy nodded along. I sat in the garage, worked on the Henderson table, tried to ignore the invasion happening 20 feet away. Monday morning, my doorbell rang at 7. I answered it in my robe. A contractor stood on the porch, young guy, clipboard, company logo on his shirt. "Morning, I'm here to assess the roof." I didn't call for a roof assessment. Lauren Keller did. She owns the property. He checked his clipboard. "You're Frank? She said you'd be here. Said to just do the inspection, send her the report." I let him do it, stood in the driveway and watched him climb around on my roof. 45 minutes later, he came down, shook my hand, said the report would be ready by Wednesday. I called Lauren. "Why is there a roofer on my house?" "The roof is 20 years old, Dad. We need to know its condition, for insurance purposes. I replaced sections 3 years ago. Sections aren't the whole roof. We're being responsible. Her voice had that edge, the one that meant, don't argue. This is our investment now. We have to protect it. By spending money on inspections I don't need? Dad, stop. We're handling this. You don't have to worry about it anymore. She hung up. I stood in the kitchen, looked at the phone, looked at the house around me, felt it slipping. No, not slipping. Shifting. They thought they were taking control, room by room, decision by decision, inspection by inspection. They didn't realize I'd built tripwires into everything, legal ones, boring ones, the kind nobody reads until it's too late, like the easement agreement, filed 9 years ago, giving me permanent access to all structures on the property, not just the house, the garage, the shed, the driveway, the yard, permanent, irrevocable without my written consent, or the usage rights document, exclusive, meaning nobody else could live here, sleep here, claim residency, not without my permission, or the maintenance trigger clause, requiring all major renovations to be approved in writing by the life estate holder. Major defined as anything over $500, with penalties for violation starting at $10,000. Lauren hadn't read the full deed, neither had Troy. They'd seen the transfer, the ownership, the title in her name. They'd missed the paragraph on page 4, the one in 8-point font, the one Martin had buried in the legal description, the one that referenced 6 other documents filed separately, documents that didn't show up in a standard title search, documents that only appeared when you pulled the complete chain of title going back 10 years. I'd spent 9 years preparing for this. They'd spent 2 weeks moving in. I went to the garage, opened my filing cabinet, looked at the folder again, all the papers, all the signatures, all the notarized proofs. Then I closed it, put it back, went inside and made breakfast, let them keep coming. Let them keep renovating, let them keep making plans. Every step they took was another violation, another penalty, another piece of evidence. Martin had asked how I was holding up. I was holding up fine. I was watching them build my case. The locksmith arrived on a Tuesday. I was pulling weeds in the front garden when his van parked at the curb. Lauren got out of her car right behind him. She had her business face on, the one that meant she'd already made a decision and was just going through the motions of being polite about it. Dad, we're changing the locks. I stood up, brushed dirt off my knees. Why? Security. The house has the same locks it had when Mom lived here. That's 20 years. Who knows how many copies of keys are floating around? She walked past me to the front door. The locksmith followed. It's just smart. We'll give you new keys, of course. I watched him take out his drill. I installed those locks. I know, and they were great, but it's time for an upgrade. Lauren checked her phone. We're doing all the exterior doors, front, back, garage. The whole security system is getting overhauled. I don't want a security system. It's not for you. It's for the house. She looked at me. Dad, you're not the only one who has a stake in this anymore. Troy and I need to protect our investment. That means proper security. The locksmith worked fast, professional. 20 minutes per door, new handles, shiny brass finish, modern, expensive. Lauren handed me 2 keys when he finished. Front and back, keep them safe. Don't make copies without telling us. This is my house. No, Dad, it's not. Not legally. We've been patient. We've let you adjust. But the adjustment period is over. Her voice stayed level, calm. This is our house. You live here because we're letting you, because we care about you, but don't mistake kindness for obligation. She paid the locksmith, gave him a tip, walked him to his van, came back, stood on the porch. My porch. The security company is coming Friday to install cameras, front door, back door, garage, just so we know what's happening when we're not here. You're putting cameras on me. We're putting cameras on our property. If you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. She smiled. Think of it as safety. If you fall, if something happens, we'll know immediately. We can help. She left. I held the 2 keys, looked at my front door, at the new lock, at the little keypad mount the locksmith had installed for the security system. I went inside, walked through every room, looked at everything with fresh eyes, the office Troy had claimed, the bathroom Lauren had scrubbed, the kitchen where they'd replaced my dish soap with theirs, the living room where they'd moved my chair 6 inches to the left. Small changes, incremental, each one insignificant by itself. Together, they were a takeover. I called Martin again. They changed the locks. Silence. Then, did they give you keys? 2, front and back. That's technically compliant, frustrating but compliant. More paper sounds. What about garage access? They're putting in a new system. Keypad entry, cameras. On Friday? Yes. Don't interfere. Let them install it. Document everything. Take photos of the equipment. Get the model numbers if you can. His voice shifted, became harder. Frank, they're moving faster than I expected. This isn't exploration anymore. This is occupation. You need to be ready. For what? For them to ask you to leave. I hung up, sat at the kitchen table. The house was quiet, too quiet, like it was holding its breath. Friday, the security company came. 2 technicians, 4 cameras, 1 keypad, motion sensors for every exterior door, glass break sensors for the windows, a control panel in the hallway. Lauren programmed the system herself, showed me how to arm it, disarm it, check the camera feeds from an app on my phone. See? Easy, you'll get used to it. She demonstrated the app. 4 camera views, front door, back door, garage, driveway. Troy and I have access too, just in case. In case what? In case you forget how to use it, or in case something happens and we need to check. She tucked her phone away. Stop being paranoid. This is normal. People have security systems. The technicians finished and left. Lauren stayed. She walked through the house again, took more measurements, more photos, opened closets, checked windows, evaluated. We're thinking about flooring, she said. The carpet is original, probably 25 years old. Hardwood would be better, modern, adds value. I like the carpet. Nobody likes carpet, Dad. It's outdated, holds smells, stains. She crouched down, pulled up a corner. Look at this, it's disgusting. When's the last time you had it professionally cleaned? Last year. Not good enough. She let it fall back. We're getting quotes, probably start in the living room. Work our way through the house. How am I supposed to live here during construction? Lauren stood, brushed her hands off. You'll manage. People do renovations all the time. It's temporary. She left. I stood in the living room, looked at the carpet. The same carpet I'd picked out with my wife 30 years ago. Cream-colored, soft. We'd saved for 6 months to afford it. Now it was disgusting. Outdated, scheduled for removal. I took photos. The carpet, the cameras, the new locks, the security panel. Uploaded everything to the folder, sent the file to Martin with a note. They're erasing me. His response came back in 5 minutes. Let them. Every change is a violation. Every dollar spent is evidence. Stay calm. Document. Wait. Wait for what? I wrote back. For them to overreach. Saturday morning, I woke up to drilling. I came downstairs in my robe. 2 contractors were installing a new toilet in the hall bathroom. Lauren supervised. Troy carried the old toilet out to a dumpster in the driveway. Morning, Dad. We're upgrading the bathrooms. This one first, then the master. Low-flow toilets. Better for the environment. Better for water bills. You didn't ask me? We don't need to ask you. It's our house. She checked her watch. The plumber will be here at 10 to upgrade the fixtures. Sink, shower, the works. I went to the kitchen, made coffee, listened to the construction sounds echoing through my house, through their house, through whatever this place was becoming. The plumber arrived, the contractors finished. They moved to the master bathroom. My bathroom, Started ripping out the shower, the tile I'd installed myself 15 years ago, one piece at a time, blue ceramic. My wife had picked the color. By evening, both bathrooms were gutted, exposed pipes, holes in the walls, plastic sheeting everywhere. "It'll take a week," Lauren said. "Maybe 2. Depends on the tile delivery. You can use the basement bathroom." The basement bathroom was unfinished. Concrete floor, bare bulb, no heat. "I'm 72 years old. You expect me to go to the basement every time I need a toilet?" "It's temporary, Dad. Stop being dramatic." She gathered her things. "We're doing this for you, to increase the value. So when you're gone, there's actually something worth inheriting." When you're gone. Not if. When. They left. I stood in the hallway, looked at the destruction, the bathroom I'd built, the tile I'd laid, the fixtures I'd chosen, all of it ripped out, thrown in a dumpster, replaced with low-flow toilets and modern fixtures and everything Lauren wanted. I went to the garage, opened the filing cabinet, pulled out the folder, found the maintenance trigger document, read it again, slowly, carefully. All major renovations require written approval from the life estate holder. Major renovations defined as any work exceeding $500 in materials and labor. Penalties for violation, $10,000 per instance, plus mandatory restoration of premises to previous condition. I took photos of the bathrooms, the dumpster, the receipts Lauren had left on the kitchen counter, the plumber's invoice, the contractor's estimate, uploaded everything, sent it to Martin, typed one message. "Is this enough?" His response came instantly. "Yes, but let them finish. The deeper the hole, the harder the fall." I closed the laptop, looked around the garage, at my tools, my workbench, my space. They hadn't touched it yet, but they would. Everything was temporary. Everything was subject to change. Nothing was safe except what I'd protected 9 years ago. I picked up the Henderson table, finished the last corner, sanded it smooth, applied the stain. The work calmed me, focused me, reminded me that I knew how to build things, how to measure, how to plan, how to see a finished product before it existed. I'd built this trap the same way, one piece at a time, one document at a time, each one carefully measured, carefully planned, carefully filed. Lauren thought she was renovating a house. She was renovating a crime scene. The flooring company arrived on a Monday, 3 guys with crowbars and a dumpster. They started in the living room, ripped up the carpet in long strips, tore out the padding, pulled up the tack strips. By noon, the room was bare concrete slab and years of accumulated dust. Lauren stood in the doorway with her arms crossed. "See? I told you it was disgusting." I didn't answer, just watched them work. Watched 30 years of memories get rolled up and thrown out. The spot where the Christmas tree always went, the corner where my wife liked to read, the place near the window where I'd taught Lauren to walk, all of it gone, just concrete now. "Hardwood goes in tomorrow," Lauren said. "Brazilian cherry, top quality, it's going to look amazing." The workers moved to the dining room next. More ripping, more tearing, more dust. They worked methodically, efficiently, like they'd done this 1,000 times. Like every house was the same, just another job, another floor, another paycheck. By Wednesday, the entire first floor was bare. The house echoed, every footstep rang out. Every door closing sounded like a gunshot. I moved through the space like a ghost, like I wasn't really there anymore. Thursday, the hardwood went down. Row by row, piece by piece. The workers were artists. Perfect joints, perfect spacing. The wood glowed in the afternoon light, rich, warm, beautiful. I hated it. Friday they finished, packed up. Lauren walked through with her phone out, took videos, photos, posted them somewhere, smiled at the screen. "Wait until Troy sees this. He's gonna love it." I stood in the living room, on the new floor. It felt wrong under my feet, too hard, too perfect, too new. "What do you think, Dad?" "It's fine." "Fine?" She lowered her phone. "It's gorgeous. It's professional. It adds 20,000 to the house value. I didn't ask for it. You didn't have to. That's what ownership means. We make the decisions now. She walked to the window, looked out at the street. The kitchen is next. Those cabinets are ancient. We're thinking white shaker style, quartz countertops, new appliances. There's nothing wrong with my kitchen. Your kitchen? She turned. Dad, listen to yourself. This isn't your kitchen. This isn't your house. This is our house. We're letting you live here out of kindness, out of love, but you need to accept reality. The reality is I've lived here for 40 years, and now you don't own it anymore. You signed it away, remember? Her voice stayed level, cold. You signed. You agreed. This is what you wanted. She left. The house echoed with her footsteps on the new floor. The front door closed. The lock clicked. The security system beeped as it armed. I stood alone in my living room that wasn't my living room anymore. On floors I didn't choose. Under lights, Lauren had repositioned. Looking at walls, she was planning to repaint. I went to the basement, to the unfinished bathroom with the concrete floor and the bare bulb. Used the toilet, washed my hands in the utility sink, looked at myself in the piece of mirror hanging from a nail. 72 years old. Gray hair, lined face, tired eyes. A man being erased from his own house. No, not erased, prepared. I went back upstairs, to the garage, opened the filing cabinet, took out the folder, spread the documents across my workbench. 9 years of preparation. Every scenario planned, every contingency covered, every violation documented. Martin had said to wait for them to overreach, to let them dig the hole deeper. But how much deeper did it need to be? I pulled out my phone, called him. Frank, I was about to call you. I got your photos from the flooring. They're doing the kitchen next. Silence. Then, how much are they planning to spend? She didn't say, but she mentioned new appliances, cabinets, countertops. That's 50,000 minimum, probably more. Papers rustling. Frank, this is good. This is very good. Every dollar they spend without your written approval is a violation. Every change they make is evidence. Evidence for what? A lawsuit? Maybe. Or leverage. Depends what you want. I want my house back. You never lost it. Not legally. They just think you did. His voice shifted. Professional. Here's what's happening. They're improving the property significantly, increasing its value, all without proper authorization from the life estate holder. When this comes to light, they have two options. 1. Restore everything to original condition. 2. Compensate you for the unauthorized improvements. How much compensation? Whatever a court decides is fair. Could be the full cost of renovations. Could be more if we argue emotional distress, illegal eviction attempts, elder abuse. He paused. Or we negotiate. They deed the house back to you. You forgive the violations. Everyone walks away. They won't deed it back. Not now, not voluntarily. But when they realize they can't sell it, can't refinance it, can't profit from it. When they realize every improvement they've made is legally contested. When they're facing 6-figure penalties. He laughed, quiet, dark. They'll deed it back, or they'll pay you to let them keep it. Either way, you win. I hung up, looked at the documents, looked at the house through the garage window, at the new floors visible through the back door, at the gutted bathrooms, at the security cameras watching everything. Lauren thought she was building equity. She was building my case. I spent the weekend documenting, photographed every room, every change, every new fixture, every improvement, wrote down dates, times, costs when I could find receipts, built a timeline, a record, a prosecution. Monday, the kitchen contractors arrived. Demo day. They ripped out my cabinets with crowbars, pried off the countertops, disconnected the appliances. By evening, the kitchen was a shell. Bare walls, capped pipes, exposed wiring, Lauren brought pizza, set it on a folding table in the dining room. Temporary kitchen. We'll use paper plates. Microwave in the garage. It's just a few weeks. I can't cook. Then don't cook. Order takeout. Eat sandwiches. Figure it out. She ate a slice, checked her phone. The new cabinets arrive Thursday. Installation starts Friday. We're on schedule. Tuesday they started demo on the bathrooms upstairs. The master. The hall. Ripped out everything new they'd just installed. Lauren had changed her mind, wanted different tile, different fixtures, better, more expensive. I watched from the hallway, watched them destroy what they'd just built, watched money and time and materials go into the dumpster. It wasn't right, Lauren said when she saw me looking. The tile was too dark. The fixtures felt cheap. We're doing it right this time. Wednesday. Troy moved his office equipment in permanently. Desktop computer, printer, file cabinets, a mini fridge. He set up like he lived here. Just easier this way, he said when I asked. I'm here 3 days a week anyway. Might as well have everything I need. He didn't ask permission, didn't even pretend to care what I thought. Just moved in, claimed the spare bedroom, made it his. Thursday evening I found boxes in my bedroom. Lauren's boxes, clothes, shoes, toiletries. She was in the hall, directing the tile installers. Why are your things in my room? We need storage space. The bathrooms are torn up. I can't leave my stuff in the car. She didn't even look at me. It's temporary. Relax. Friday morning I woke up to voices. Went downstairs. Troy was making coffee in the garage microwave. Lauren was on a phone call in the living room. 2 contractors were installing cabinets in the kitchen. My house was full of people, full of noise, full of activity that had nothing to do with me. I stood in the garage doorway, watched Troy pour coffee into a travel mug. My mug, the one I'd gotten from a job site 20 years ago. Morning, Frank. He smiled. Big day. Cabinets going in. Going to look great. I didn't respond, just watched him drink from my mug, in my garage, in my house. He walked past me, patted my shoulder. You should eat something. Long day ahead. I went inside, made toast in the garage toaster, ate it standing up. Watched through the window as they installed cabinet after cabinet. White. Modern. Nothing like what I'd built originally. Nothing like what belonged here. By evening, the cabinets were done. New quartz countertops templated. Appliances ordered. The kitchen looked like a showroom, professional, cold, empty. Lauren stood in the center, took a panoramic photo. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I went to the garage, closed the door, sat at my workbench. The folder was still spread out. All my documents, all my proof. My phone buzzed. Martin. Frank, we need to meet. Tomorrow, my office, bring everything. Why? Because it's time to move. They've crossed enough lines, spent enough money. We have everything we need. For what? To take your house back. I sat in the dark garage, listened to Lauren and Troy celebrating in the kitchen, heard them laughing, planning, talking about the next renovation, the next improvement, the next step in making this house theirs. They'd forgotten one thing. It was never theirs to take. Martin's office was downtown, 3rd floor of an old building that smelled like coffee and paper. I'd been here before, 9 years ago when I first set this up. The furniture was the same, the diplomas on the wall, the view of the street below. Martin was older now, grayer, but his eyes were still sharp. He motioned to the chair across from his desk. I sat, put the folder down between us. Let me see it. I slid it across. He opened it, started reading, flipped through pages, made notes, 20 minutes of silence while he absorbed everything. Finally, he looked up. This is extensive, thorough, better than I expected. He pulled out a yellow pad. Let's go through the violations. We spent 2 hours itemizing. Every renovation, every improvement, every dollar spent without my written approval. The bathrooms, the floors, the kitchen, The security system, the locks, the office equipment, the storage in my bedroom, the occupancy violations, Troy's 3-day-a-week presence, Lauren's boxes. By the time we finished, the list filled 3 pages. Conservative estimate, they've spent $80,000 on improvements, $80,000 in violations. At $10,000 per instance, that's, he did the math, $800,000 in penalties. They don't have that kind of money. I know. That's the point. He leaned back. Here's how this works. We file a claim. Breach of life estate agreement. Unauthorized improvements. Illegal occupancy attempts. We demand full compliance. Restoration of premises. Removal of all unauthorized occupants. Cease of all renovation activity. They'll fight it. Of course they will. They'll claim improvements benefit you. They'll claim they're protecting the asset. They'll claim you're senile or confused or ungrateful. He smiled. None of it will matter. The documents are clear. The violations are documented. The law is on your side. What if they deed it back? Just give up? Then you win. You get your house. They get nothing. He tapped the folder. But I don't think they will. Not right away. They've spent too much. Invested too much. They'll try to negotiate. Try to find a middle ground. There is no middle ground. I know, but they don't. Not yet. He closed the folder. How far are you willing to go, Frank? Because this gets ugly, public. Your daughter will hate you for this. She already does. She just hasn't figured it out yet. He studied me. This isn't about the house anymore, is it? I thought about Lauren smiling as she ripped up my carpet. Troy drinking from my mug. The boxes in my bedroom. Like I was already gone. Like I was just an obstacle to be worked around until I disappeared. It was always about more than the house. Martin nodded. Okay. I'll draft the filing. We'll serve them next week. Give them 7 days to respond. After that, we proceed to injunction hearing. Judge will issue a temporary order. Work stops, occupancy stops, status quo restored until trial. How long until trial? 6 months, maybe more. Courts are slow. He pulled out a contract. My fees, same rate as before. I'll need a retainer, $5,000. I wrote the check. He put it in his desk drawer, stood, shook my hand. This is the right thing, Frank. They overreached. They took advantage. They deserve what's coming. I drove home. The house looked different now. Still mine in all the ways that mattered, but occupied, invaded, claimed by people who had no right. Troy's car was in the driveway. I parked behind it. Went inside. He was in his office, door open, on a video call. He waved, kept talking, didn't even pause his meeting to acknowledge me in my own house. Lauren was in the kitchen, unpacking new dishes, white ceramic, modern. She'd thrown out my old ones. Hey, Dad, we're having dinner here tonight. Troy's grilling. You're welcome to join us. This is my house. She stopped unpacking. What? This is my house. I didn't invite you for dinner. I didn't give you permission to grill, to move in your dishes, to replace mine. Dad, we talked about this. It's our house now. No, it's not. I put my keys on the counter. The new quartz counter I'd never wanted. You need to leave. Lauren laughed. Excuse me? Pack your things, Troy's things, leave. Are you serious right now? She put down the dish. Dad, you're being ridiculous. We're not going anywhere. We own this house. We own you. You own the title. You don't own anything else. What are you talking about? I walked out, went to the garage, got the folder from the filing cabinet, brought it back, dropped it on the kitchen counter, papers spilled out. What is this? Read it. She picked up the first document, started reading. Her face changed, confused, then worried, then angry. What did you do? I prepared. 9 years ago. Before you ever thought to take this house, I made sure you couldn't really have it. Troy appeared in the doorway. What's going on? Lauren handed him the papers. He read, flipped through pages. His face went through the same progression: confusion, worry, anger. "This is insane. You can't do this." "I already did, 9 years ago, filed with the county, notarized, legal. You manipulated us. You let us spend all this money, all this time. You let us think. I let you think you could take my house and erase me. I let you think you could renovate and improve and occupy without consequences." I looked at them both. "You were wrong." Lauren's hand shook. "This is cruel. This is vindictive. We were trying to help you." "No, you were trying to help yourselves. You saw an old man with an asset. You saw an opportunity. You took it." I gathered the papers, put them back in the folder. "Now, you're going to undo it. Every renovation, every improvement. You're going to restore this house to exactly how it was, or you're going to pay me. A lot. We'll fight this. We'll take you to court. Please do. I have 9 years of documentation, photos, receipts, witness statements. You have excuses and entitlement." I walked toward the garage. 7 days. That's how long you have to respond to the legal filing. After that, a judge decides. And judges don't like people who take advantage of their parents. I left them standing in the kitchen. In their kitchen that wasn't really theirs. In the house they'd claimed but never owned. Went to the garage, closed the door, sat at my workbench. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from adrenaline. From years of preparation finally activating. From watching the trap spring shut. They'd thought they were so smart, so prepared, so justified. They'd forgotten that I built things for a living, that I planned, that I measured, that I knew how to see the finished product before it existed. I'd seen this 9 years ago, every step, every violation, every moment of overreach. I'd seen it coming, and I'd prepared. Now they'd see it too. The realization, the panic, the scrambling to undo what couldn't be undone. I picked up the phone, called Martin. They know. How'd they take it? Badly. Good. Let them panic. Let them make mistakes. Let them show their true character. He paused. Are you okay, Frank? I looked around the garage, at my tools, my workbench, my space, the only part of the house they hadn't touched yet. I'm fine. Call me if that changes. And Frank, don't be alone with them, not until this is settled. Desperate people do desperate things. I hung up, sat in the quiet garage. The house was silent beyond the door. No voices, no footsteps, just silence. Then the front door slammed. Car doors, engines. They left. I went inside, walked through the empty house, the new floors, the gutted bathrooms, the showroom kitchen, everything they'd built, everything they'd claimed, all of it contested now, all of it evidence, all of it proof that they'd overreached, that they'd taken too much, that they'd mistaken ownership for control. I made dinner in the garage microwave, ate it standing at my workbench, looked at the folder, at 9 years of preparation, at the weapon I'd built from patience and planning and legal documents nobody bothered to read. My phone rang. Lauren. I didn't answer. She called again, then Troy, then Lauren again. I let them ring, let them panic, let them realize what they'd done, let them understand that taking someone's house wasn't just about signatures and titles and legal ownership. It was about understanding what you were really taking and who you were taking it from. They came back 3 days later. I was in the garage when I heard the cars, 2 of them. Lauren's Audi and a BMW I didn't recognize. Doors opened, footsteps, voices. I stayed where I was, kept sanding the chair I'd been working on. Steady strokes, even pressure, the wood smooth under my hands. The garage door opened. Lauren, Troy, and a man in a suit, expensive suit, attorney written all over him. Dad, this is Richard Hale, our lawyer. I kept sanding, didn't look up. Mr. Keller? The lawyer's voice was smooth, professional. I've reviewed the documents your daughter provided. I'd like to discuss a resolution. Nothing to discuss. I filed my claim. You have 4 days to respond. We're responding now, informally, before this becomes adversarial. I set down the sandpaper, looked at him. He was younger than Martin, 40 maybe, confident. The kind of lawyer you hire when you have money and want to win. You're already adversarial. You took my house. That's pretty adversarial. Your daughter legally owns this house. The deed transfer was voluntary, witnessed, notarized. You can't claim... I'm not claiming anything about the transfer. I'm claiming violations of the life estate agreement, unauthorized improvements, illegal occupancy attempts, breach of easement rights. I picked up the folder from my workbench. It's all documented. Every violation, every dollar, every day. Hale took the folder, flipped through it. His face didn't change, but his jaw tightened. He saw it. Saw what Martin and I had built. 9 years of tripwires and triggers and legal landmines. This is highly unusual. That's not illegal. No, but it shows intent, premeditation. You set this up knowing they'd violate it. That's entrapment. Entrapment requires law enforcement. I'm not law enforcement. I'm a homeowner protecting my rights. I took the folder back. Your clients chose to renovate without permission, to occupy without authorization, to spend $80,000 on improvements without written approval from the life estate holder. That's on them. Lauren stepped forward. Dad, please, can we talk? Just us? Your lawyer's here. Anything you say is on the record. Fine. Then let me say this on the record. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry, we're sorry. We went too fast. We got caught up in improving the house and we forgot to ask. We forgot to check. But we did it for you. To make this place better. To make it safer. More modern, more valuable. I didn't ask for any of that. You didn't ask us not to. I didn't have to. The documents are clear. Major renovations require written approval. You didn't get approval. You violated the agreement. Now you face the penalties. Troy spoke up. Frank, be reasonable. We've spent 80 grand improving your house. Your house is worth more now. You're benefiting from this. I didn't ask to benefit. You decided for me. You decided what I needed. What I wanted. You decided I was just an old man who didn't know better. Who didn't deserve to be consulted. Who could be managed and controlled and worked around. I looked at all three of them. You decided wrong. Hale closed his briefcase. Mr. Keller, let me be clear about what happens if you pursue this. We'll file a counterclaim. Elder abuse, fraud, mental incompetence. We'll argue you created this structure specifically to extort your daughter, to punish her for trying to help. A court will see through this. Maybe a court will see a daughter who coerced her elderly father into signing away his house, then immediately started erasing him from it, changing locks, installing cameras, moving in her husband, renovating without permission, all while claiming it was for his protection. Hale's expression hardened. We're prepared to fight this, fully. We have resources, time, expertise. Do you? I have Martin Vance. He's been my attorney for 30 years. He wrote every document in this folder. He knows every clause, every trigger, every penalty. I opened the garage door. 4 days. File your response. Then we go to court. They left. Lauren stopped at the door. Dad, please, don't do this. We can fix this. We can work this out. You already did this. I'm just responding. I'm your daughter. Then act like it. Treat me like a father, not like an obstacle. She left crying, Troy's arm around her, Hale behind them, professional, cold, already planning his strategy. I closed the garage door, went back to my chair, picked up the sandpaper, started sanding again. The rhythm calmed me, the focus, the simple act of making something better, smoother, more perfect. That evening Martin called. They brought in Richard Hale, corporate attorney, expensive. I know, he was here. He's good, Frank, aggressive. He'll make this ugly. Let him. He's going to argue incompetence, elder abuse. He'll try to prove you manipulated them, set them up. He'll paint you as vindictive and cruel. Can he win? Not on the law. The documents are airtight. but he can make the process painful, expensive, public. He can drag this out for years, make you look bad. Even if you win, you lose. So what do? Silence. Then, you push harder. You don't wait for them to respond. You file for emergency injunction. Tomorrow. Claim they're actively destroying evidence, continuing unauthorized work, threatening you. Get a judge to order them out immediately. Show them you're not backing down. Will it work? Maybe. If we get the right judge. If we argue it right. He paused. But Frank, this is the nuclear option. Once you do this, there's no going back. No reconciliation, no family dinners, no Christmas cards. You'll be the father who sued his daughter, the old man who destroyed his family over a house. I thought about Lauren in my kitchen, Troy drinking from my mug, the boxes in my bedroom, the way they'd looked at me, through me, past me, like I was already gone. I'm already that father. They just haven't admitted it yet. Okay, I'll draft the motion. We'll file first thing tomorrow. Be ready. They're going to retaliate. Hard. He hung up. I sat in the quiet house, walked through the rooms, the new floors creaking under my feet, the gutted bathrooms waiting for tile, the showroom kitchen with its white cabinets and cold quartz. Everything perfect. Everything wrong. I went to bed in my room. Lauren's boxes still in the corner, Troy's jacket on the chair, evidence of occupation, evidence of overreach, evidence that they'd forgotten I existed until I reminded them. The next morning, Martin called at 7. Motion filed, emergency hearing set for Friday, 3 days. Judge Carolyn Watts. Tough, fair, doesn't like family disputes, but respects the law. What do I need to do? Be there. Be honest. Be sympathetic. You're the elderly father who trusted his daughter, who signed his house away because she said it was for his protection, who watched her take over, renovate, occupy. You're the victim here. Act like it. I hung up, got dressed, made coffee in the garage, toast in the toaster, ate standing up looking at the house through the window. My house. Their house. Nobody's house. Just a battlefield now. A place where family went to die. The doorbell rang. I answered it. A process server. Young guy with a clipboard. Frank Keller? Yes. You've been served. He handed me papers. Lauren's counterclaim. I signed his form. He left. I opened the envelope. Read the claim. 20 pages. Mental incompetence. Elder abuse. Fraud. Manipulation. Exploitation. Every ugly word Hale could think of. Every accusation designed to paint me as a cruel old man punishing his generous daughter. I called Martin. They filed. Already. That was fast. Papers rustling. Send me a copy. I'll review it. But don't worry, it's posturing, trying to scare you, trying to make you back down before Friday. It won't work. Good, because Friday is when we show them who they're really dealing with. I spent the next 3 days preparing. Martin sent questions. I answered them, detailed, specific, every renovation, every conversation, every moment Lauren and Troy had taken control, every time I'd objected, every time they'd dismissed me. Thursday evening, Lauren called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. Finally left a message. Dad, please, call me back. We need to talk. We can settle this. We can make this right. Just call me. Please. I deleted it, went to bed, slept better than I had in months. Friday morning, I dressed in slacks and a button shirt, drove downtown, met Martin outside the courthouse. He looked tired, serious. Ready? Yes. Remember, you're the victim. You're the wronged party. You trusted them and they betrayed that trust. Don't get angry. Don't get defensive. Just tell the truth. We went inside. Courtroom C, small, wood paneling, American flag, judge's bench, 2 tables, gallery seating. Lauren and Troy were already there, with Hale. They looked tired, stressed. Lauren's makeup couldn't hide the circles under her eyes. She saw me, started to stand. Hale put a hand on her arm, stopped her. Judge Watts entered. Everyone stood. She sat. We sat. She looked at the papers in front of her, looked at us. This is a mess. Her voice was flat, tired. I've read both filings. Both are compelling. Both are ugly. I don't like family disputes. I especially don't like parent-child disputes. But here we are. She looked at Martin. Mr. Vance, your motion. Martin stood, presented the case, calm, logical, every violation detailed, every document cited, every penalty calculated. He was good, professional, made it sound simple, clear, obvious. Hale stood for rebuttal, argued incompetence, manipulation, claimed I'd set a trap, that I'd engineered this, that I was punishing Lauren for trying to help. He was good too, passionate, convincing, made it sound tragic, unfair, vindictive. Judge Watts listened, took notes, asked questions, finally held up her hand. Enough. I've heard enough. She looked at me. Mr. Keller, stand up. I stood. Did you create these life estate documents with the intention of preventing your daughter from using the property? No, Your Honor. I created them to protect my right to live in my home until I die. Did you know your daughter would want to renovate? I suspected she might. Eventually. Did you tell her about these restrictions before she accepted the deed? I told her to have a lawyer review everything. She said she had. She said Martin Vance had reviewed it. Martin stood. Your Honor, I did review the original deed transfer with Ms. Keller. I specifically pointed out the life estate language. She acknowledged it. Signed anyway. Judge Watts looked at Lauren. Ms. Keller, did Mr. Vance explain the life estate restrictions? Lauren stood. He mentioned them. But he didn't explain how restrictive they were. He didn't explain that we couldn't make any improvements without Dad's written permission. He made it sound like standard language, like a formality. Did you ask questions? No. Did you have your own attorney review the deed? No. We trusted Martin. We trusted Dad. Judge Watts nodded, wrote something down. Here's what I see. Mr. Keller created a legal structure to protect his interests. Ms. Keller accepted that structure without fully understanding it. She then violated multiple terms of that structure. The violations are documented. The penalties are clear. The law is on Mr. Keller's side. Lauren sat down hard. Troy put his arm around her. However, Judge Watts looked at me. I also see a father who had the means and knowledge to prevent this situation. Who could have communicated clearly? Who chose instead to let his daughter make mistakes, to accumulate violations, to dig herself into a hole? That troubles me. She closed the file. Here's my ruling. Emergency injunction granted. All renovation work stops immediately. All occupancy beyond visitation stops immediately. Ms. Keller and her husband will remove all personal property from the premises within 7 days. They will not change locks, install systems, or make any modifications without written approval from Mr. Keller. She looked at Lauren. However, the house remains in your name. The deed stands. Mr. Keller cannot remove you from title. You own the house. He owns the right to live in it and control it. You're stuck with each other until he dies or voluntarily leaves. She looked at both of us. I strongly suggest mediation. This is a family, or it was. Figure out how to be one again, or spend the next decade in my courtroom making lawyers rich. Your choice. She stood, left. The hearing was over. Lauren collapsed into Hale, sobbing. Troy looked stunned, defeated. Martin gathered his papers. That went well. The injunction is in place. They have to leave. You won, Frank. I looked at Lauren crying across the courtroom, at Troy's hollow eyes, at Hale whispering urgently to them both. This doesn't feel like winning. It's not supposed to.